We've worked on team trust, looking at each other in the eyes, being 2% more real. That organizational trust, our trust as a community, how does that get strengthened? That is the third pillar of our triangle, and that is your credibility. The word credibility comes from credos. Do I believe you? And Jennifer already hit on it. As leaders, I believe you if I believe in your intentions, in what you're in it for. And that, my friends, as you know, relates to purpose. What is your purpose in doing this work? And this is such meaningful, purposeful work, I know. But have you written it down? What your purpose is? What makes you get up in the morning? Because let me tell you something. Every single history book, and I love to reread Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl every year, when he talked about surviving the worst of the concentration camps, when human beings truly survive the worst is when they find some purpose, even if it's small, which is what he recounts in that book. So if you have that purpose clear, written out on those days when it's tough to get up in the morning because you're like, what else can happen in the world today? That purpose is what is going to give you that jolt. And you're going to say to yourself, I am lucky to be alive because I get to do this. So I'm going to give you, once again, 2 minutes. Christina's going to play some inspirational music. Take this time to yourself, no talking this time. Scan this QR code. There's going to be a series of prompts for you. And I want you to start writing down what that purpose is. If you think about how you want to show up, what kind of a legacy do you want to leave? What makes you get up in the morning in this stage of your life? Christine, let's hear some music, and we have about 2 minutes to do this one. Thank you for that. All right, ladies, look at what some of you wrote. You wrote things like, my purpose is to help people. My purpose is to live God's purpose for me. My purpose is to lead, to serve with integrity and compassion, my love for my family. My purpose is to leave this world better than I found it. My purpose is creating the perfect IPA. I don't know what that means. What does IPA mean? My purpose is to leave a legacy behind for my children. My purpose is to bring people together. I stand for women's rights. You know that over 80% of leaders that I've surveyed, 3,000 people in 4 continents. I've done this in Saudi Arabia, in Malaysia, in Mexico, in Guatemala. Over 80% of people, their purpose is about something so much bigger than them. It's about others and something beyond them, which I think is so beautiful. So I would love to hear, do we have 3 volunteers that would love to read their purpose? Can I get a show of hands? Show of hands. 1, we have Jennifer. 2, we have our friend in the back. Somebody from this side of the room, raise your hand. Purpose. 1 more. We have 3. Can we get them to come on stage? Big round of applause for them. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So, Veronica, I'll start with you.
Okay. So my purpose is building communities through nourishing lives. And I'm a processor. I provide meals for schools and other nonprofits. So in doing so, we build a lot of different partnerships, a lot of relationships, a lot of community involvement to try to help others in the community through our meals, but also through our partnerships and in any other ways that we're able to do so.
Thank you so much. Thank you. By the way, you know what is so magical and such an opportunity, Veronica, and thank you for that, is, do you know how amazing it is that we get to walk in our purpose? That we actually, you know how many people are sitting in desks like wishing that they had a purpose like that and that they actually could do work that is aligned with their purpose? We are so lucky. Jennifer.
Hi.
I'm like...
My purpose is to keep building community and to be the voice for the voiceless.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming up here. Last but not least, my friend Malika.
Yes.
Woo.
Hi, everyone. All right. My purpose is to be a mirror and to also advocate on behalf of those who have either lost their voice or forgotten it.
Thank you, Malika. Big round of applause for the 3 of them. Thank you, ladies. Amazing. So I discovered my purpose when my dream was to get to like network news in English, and like coming from Venezuela and like having worked at Univision. I get there and I start, kind of like mimicking what other reporters were doing. I was told like, your eyebrows are too dark and cut your hair, and how are you gonna pronounce your name, Mariana or Mariana? And I was like really finding, like how I could stand in my power and bring my community along with me and have them be seen and not morph into this idea of success that I saw around me, but create space for other people. And my purpose was finally revealed to me. Who here is originally from Mexico or has family from Mexico? Raise your hand. So, yeah. So you ladies and gents might remember the 2017 earthquake in Mexico City, which was so devastating. And we were all watching it on television. And I was in Miami, and I called my boss in New York, and I said, like, please send me to go cover the story. And she said, well, Mariana, it's not a domestic story, it's in Mexico, and we usually cover in Mexico, like people are crossing the borders and cartels. And I'm like, I really think that our audience can connect to the plight of these parents, because the earthquake had also affected this primary school. They were still looking for survivors. And I bothered her so much. There was just something in me where I was just like, I need to be there on the ground. And when I got there, finally she sends me with 3 gringos that had never been to Mexico. That's a whole nother keynote. And we were wearing like these hard hats. And I remember in the moment, like the rescue workers were just literally coming out of the area that was taped. And I just started speaking to them in Spanish, like, what do you need? ¿Qué recursos necesitan? And they were like talking to me like, we need other nations to send this and this and this. And I just started turning to the camera and translating live. And it was just a moment that happened. I was live for 6 hours that day on MSNBC, talking mostly Spanish to people and translating live, and there was no voiceover, and there was no subtitles, and there was no, these people are, in a foreign country and not speaking English, and we're not gonna put them on air. And I realized in that moment that my purpose and what had happened to me on that mountaintop had brought me there, to be able to connect people from different walks of life, be a bridge between generations and cultures and languages, and make people somewhere else care about the plight of these people that I was covering, and having their voice speak for itself. So I also want you to realize that your purpose is going to come from the places that you've been and the experiences that you have faced and overcome, and the brokenness sometimes that you have experienced, because that's how I found mine.